The Lego house is going to be very unique because this is going to be the only one.
This is the beginning.
I couldn't imagine a nicer dream to realize than Kjeld's dream.
The design process that we have been through is as much as when you play with Lego bricks.
Wow, hold up. I'm moved.
This house is Kjeld's dream.
The house will open in, let's say, 20 minutes from now. We're just changing it slightly so it becomes sort of only the best is good enough.
We have to make sure that this is really becoming the home of the brick. A home for the brick has been my dream for many, many years. A place where fans of all ages can come and see and enjoy all the possibilities that there are within our bricks.
Making this dream come true has been a long and often difficult journey. The architectural structure has to complement the interior perfectly. The play experiences have to be just right. You have to create the most spectacular Lego builds ever seen. All of this needs to be done before the grand opening. And of course, it all has to meet the demands of Kjeld Kirk and the Lego Group.
Only the best is good enough.
For the purpose of getting the right exterior frames for the full Lego experience, the Lego Group contacted a number of different architects to propose various solutions.
But then Bjarke and his people came in with the right proposal.
At the time, Bjarke Ingels was already a star architect, and his company BIG had won numerous awards.
If BIG had been founded with the purpose of building just one building, this was going to be the building. Architects often forget we're not just designing some nice facades or making things presentable or solving some practical issues. No, we're actually literally creating the world that we would like to live in. And if that's what we're doing, then let's start realizing some dreams.
Bjarke has been a Lego fan all through his years and used Lego bricks also very often in his creations.
I was 4, like turning 5. I was like obsessing with this yellow Lego castle. Like I studied the images that were in this catalog as much as I possibly could. And eventually, actually, I got it from my granddad for Christmas. Of course, I instantly built the castle as is. And eventually, all of that yellow Lego made it into the ecosystem of Lego. The basic idea of the Lego house, it has to be a completely inviting and engaging and accessible and public building, both on the inside and on the outside. It's basically like a series of rooms, almost like Lego bricks, so that when you look at Google Earth, when you fly into Billund, you can actually recognize the Lego building. The ones that are sitting on the ground, they contain all of the most public functions, and they actually surround a big square in the middle we call the Lego square. 2 of the Lego blocks on the outside are melting. The yellow one here is one of them. You're actually invited to climb up on the roofscape and enjoy some of these interconnected playgrounds. You can actually reach the summit of the Lego house, and you can actually look out over the entire city of Billund, so you can see like all of the different Lego factories, the airport, etc., and the rest of the city. In a town that's like incredibly flat, suddenly there's this like man-made mountain where you're actually invited to engage.
I said immediately, that's going to be the Lego house.
The lead engineers came back and said, we are simply not able to build the building. We need to put some pillars into the house in order to keep up the different boxes of the house. When that was explained to Kjeld, he almost choked the food that he was eating, because that was not at all the idea that he bought into.
Quality is one of our key core values and has always been very important for us. Quality in a broad sense, not only in terms of product, we should act in a qualitative way as a company in all our behavior and so on. So I think we have looked at quality in a broad sense.
In 2014, in the center of Billund, Denmark, the Lego House official groundbreaking ceremony took place, still unsure of how to solve the actual constructional challenges.
It's not always easy for me to communicate the ideas that I have in my head, and I'm sure that I have not always been very clear on how to express it.
A design team starts to come up with ideas about what the inside of the house should be like.
The Lego house will be a world of play experiences, all taking a starting point in the Lego brick. This will be the core of everything. Our goal is to base all experiences on core life skills, a range of learning through play competences that comes to life when you start playing. We'll divide the house in different zones. In the red zone, creativity is key. We will fill the room with lots of bricks so you can build whatever you can imagine. In the blue zone, we will focus on problem-solving skills. It could be building a city like an architect, building a vehicle like a race driver, or it could be programming a robot like a scientist. The yellow zone is all about emotions, where we want your Lego models to come to life. So imagine building a critter that can dance, or building a fish that could swim away. The Lego minifigure is a core part of the Lego world, and we have decided to create a zone just for them to live in. It's the green zone, and the green zone will be all about social play. So imagine the minifigures living in a world where there are lots of story starters all over. We are designing the basement to become a treasure chamber of Lego secrets. This is where we expect you to see the most iconic sets ever made by Lego, and this is also where you should be able to revisit your own childhood. On top of the house, we will place the Masterpiece Gallery. This will be a Lego art gallery where we'll display the best builds made by AFOLs around the world. So now we have the vision, and we have all these great ideas. Only challenge ahead is to figure out how to make all this great stuff come to life.
Back at the Lego house construction site, the engineers plan to build a steel bridge that will carry the entire house, so the giant plaza, the size of a soccer field, can stand without any visible pillars, just like if the house was built with Lego bricks.
This is the beginning, and in the coming 3 or 4 months there'll come small bits and pieces in, and it's a puzzle that will be built up to form the bridge over the Lego square.
A lot of additional steel was added into the construction of the house, and then we had to postpone the actual opening date for another 12 months of the house.
Of course, postponing the opening day of the house wasn't ideal, but it was necessary to get the house just right.
Billund is the home of the company. And of course, I have a lot of veneration also for Billund. I grew up here.
Yeah, so the location of the Lego house is quite unique. It's literally next door to the house where the founder of the company lived, where the first offices were, where the first factory was. So literally next door to the place where the Lego brick was created in 1958, almost 60 years ago.
From a commercial aspect, does it make sense to build a Lego house in Billund? And no, not if you look at things from a commercial aspect. Then I guess London, New York, Shanghai would be much more obvious.
I think it's very important as a family-owned company also that we really are true to our heritage. And this, for me, is a very important step in this direction. Billund is where we have our roots, and it's the most natural place to build that Lego house. Of course. My grandfather started in 1932 making wooden toys. He was a very skilled carpenter. he wanted to make some very high quality toys for children. The duck here is probably one of the examples of his very early works. Making wooden toys was actually the beginning of the Lego company.
So it all started in 1932 with one man's love for wood craftsmanship. The Great Depression brings the global economy to a halt, including Ole Kirk Christiansen's small woodworking shop in Billund. But always the fighter, Ole Kirk refuses to give up. He reinvents the company and starts producing wooden toys under the name Lego. Greatly inspired by his father, Godfred Kirk Christiansen carves the words "Only the best is good enough" into wooden plaques, reminding himself and the employees to keep their focus on quality. During a chance encounter with Godfred Kirk, a toy buyer complains that he sees no system or actual ideas in toys of the time. The conversation plants a seed in the mind of Godfred Kirk, and 1 year later, the Lego company introduces a town planner-themed box set that enables children to build their own town where everything fits together. On January 28, 1958, the modern Lego brick is born. From this point on, endless building possibilities become a reality.
Jeg har jo nogle helt særlige følelser for det her, ikke? Altså, det er jo virkelig det ultimative Lego house. Sådan.
The construction of the steel bridge carrying the house is now completed, and Kjell visits the construction site.
Nu står vi på toppen af verdens største Lego-klods. Den største 8-klods i hele verden, den er her. Jeg synes, det er så smart, trappen med. Hvis du ser de linjerne fra gelænderet, ikke også? Bunden af gelænderet, fra hjørne til hjørne, så går det giver det forskellige skrå linjer, hvilket gør trappen meget spændende at se på helt nedefra. Og inden midten, der kommer der et kæmpe stort Lego-træ. Der er jo utrolig mange detaljer i sådan et hus, og mange af dem bliver jeg jo involveret i og bliver spurgt om. Lige fra vores logo for Lego House, hvordan skal det se ud, og det har jeg jo nogle meninger om også, ikke? Mange gange er det jo meget mere en følelse, noget der kommer frem, når jeg ser på et forslag. Vel simpelthen også fordi jeg i den grad har levet med virksomheden igen så mange år, og har en god fornemmelse for, hvad der er rigtigt, og hvad der ikke er så rigtigt. Det tror jeg bare er lidt indgroet i mig, ikke?
I think the house is one of the most important efforts that Kjell has ever undertaken. He's so passionate about this. I think for him, leaving a place behind where you can really truly understand the Lego idea.
Here it is. This is definitely one of my favorite boxes. It was something that was very, very popular. The castle. This is the yellow castle. This was actually the first set with a lot of different minifigures. That's me on the picture here. I was used as a model for lots of boxes in the early years. It was easy to just ask me to come. I played a lot with Lego bricks as a child. I feel that I sort of grew up with a brick, and often when I came home from school, we had a couple of designers. I loved going over there and seeing what they were making, and I actually also got my own desk there so that I could sit there and build whenever I wanted to.
He is a child and lives up to the children of all ages notion of Lego and really believes in the values of the child. And you see it when he's approaching and talking to children. Here's an adult who's actually taking me on with a serious mindset and not, oh, you're just playing. No, you're playing, and that's a serious matter. That's something that I care deeply about.
How can children create and really be stimulated to develop themselves also? That has been one of the things that I have put even more emphasis on in building our brand over the period that I have been CEO.
We've seen in our research that there's nothing more important than helping children develop as creative thinkers.
Mitch Resnick is a professor of learning research and has been working for more than 30 years at the MIT Media Lab, a worldwide leading institute in innovation and creativity.
When I think about play, I don't see it as just fun and games, but rather I see play as a way of engaging with the world, where you're willing to take risks, to try new things. And I think the greatest learning and the greatest innovations come when people are doing things in a playful spirit. They might be building a sandcastle or a Lego castle or building a poem. Whatever they're creating is a way for them to create new ideas. So there's this constant cycle between children building things in the world to build new ideas that let them build new things in the world. That cycle provides the basis for the best learning experiences. I think places like the Lego house provide an image of what the world might be like and how we can provide new opportunities for children. If we provide children the opportunity to build, to play, to design and create, they'll be prepared for a world which is going to require creative thinking more than ever before.
As the building of the Lego house moves along, a design team is put together for the difficult task, figuring out what the experiences should be in the different zones in the Lego house.
We want to represent more or less all platforms that we have, all element families that we have as well, and all different types of play that we also offer in the Lego experience. The design process that we have been through is as much as when you play with Lego bricks. When you play with bricks, you build your first model. But having built that, you take a tour around, you sort of walk around it a bit and you think, it could be a bit better, I could improve it a bit here with the window, perhaps with the roof as well. And that's the same process as we have been through.
That's so cool, you become a kid.
The interior is something very unique and very special. Everything is very iconically designed as a Lego brick. It's not a dollhouse we're making in big size, but the brick is such a dominant factor in the design of everything. You can, if you want to, build all furniture in Lego bricks.
What a statement, you know, statement of Lego. Grand.
And of course, the outside of the Lego house should also look like it's built from Lego bricks.
Skulle de være større eller mindre, og hvad skulle fugebredden være og sådan noget, ikke? Det var jo gode diskussioner.
At another place at the construction site, there are high hopes of moving into the building so that they can get started on their part of the Lego house.
We really want to make the best family restaurant in Denmark, and to do that you need to create a wow effect for the kids. We actually plan to do a quite fantastic journey for the food. We plan to add a conveyor belt going from the kitchen out to the family restaurant. And then in this place we'll have robots standing, serving the food to you as a guest to the restaurant.
You know, it's interesting how the project is also evolving over time. Especially the family restaurant, there we've taken the idea of really bringing bricks into the hands of guests, no matter where you are in the house. We're really taking that into the concept of the family restaurant.
While figuring out how the restaurant will come alive with robots, the testing of the experiences begins.
The idea is that we go from sketches to 3D dimensions and making sure that the concepts actually work in principle. What we're working on now is we've already got proof from testing that the whole idea of using cars on ramps is effective and is a good play experience. So at the moment I'm trying to make sure that different types of vehicles based on weight and resistance are making the transition from this ramp to the next ramp, and making sure it's at least possible.
What has helped us to validate whether our choices has been right all along have been the guests. So we have been doing numerous of testings. This is the biggest test that we have had and will be having before the opening of the house.
We've gone through extensive testing for the last 2 years now, but there's still a lot of final design development that needs to be done.
Testing is super critical for LEGO. We do it all the time. We see thousands of children every year. And also here in the LEGO house, we want to make something that has been developed together with children.
We think of a good idea, but we don't really know it'll work until we put it in front of the kids. And in the process of putting it in front of them, we actually get feedback. This ramp, for example, is really strong today. Kids are really loving it. There's a lot of people on it. This ramp over here, not so much, right? And so we learn from the process of our own design, learning through play process, creating and designing things, what works and what doesn't work. And that's what informs the next version of the design. Almost.
Det er sjovere at bygge, hvis man har lidt fantasi. Men jeg synes, det hele var nyt, og jeg synes, det hele var sjovt. Det har været mega fedt.
Lego House wouldn't be a true Lego house without grand Lego builds inside, such as a giant Lego waterfall, different Lego worlds, huge Lego dinosaurs, and the largest Lego build to date, the Tree of Creativity. In charge of the many different Lego builds for the Lego house is Stuart.
When I first started working for Lego in 1993, and I joined Legoland as a model builder. I made this myself. I can't fly the flag outside on the flagpole, so I fly it in the inside and as a Lego flag. And we have another one here. This is a prop we've used in a photo shoot. Yellow Castle, that's a classic Lego set. I have a little beetle here because when I first moved to Denmark, I came in my little yellow beetle. It was a nice car, so had a little copy made of it, small scale, minifigure scale. This box here, a model of the Tree of Creativity from Lego House. It was natural that, you know, have one of the most sort of iconic Lego models that has ever been built to be done as a kit as well. Here you can see Kel and myself looking at the final product. Yeah, you have a passion for the brand, and you like building with the bricks. So, and I'm an adult, so I guess I count as an adult fan of Lego. Yes.
Stuart doesn't do the actual Lego buildings for the house himself. He designs and supervises that everything goes as directed.
This morning I'm going to our model shop here in Billund, where some of the designers are working on one of the experiences that we're developing.
The World Explorer exhibition will be covered in small minifigure stories. The task for Stuart and his team is to create these scenes for the visitor to discover.
Here we are in the model shop.
Today, Stuart will be presented with a bunch of minifigure scenes. It's then up to him to approve and select which ones will end up in the final build.
There's the Batman car. He's getting a ticket, and also going to find a place for this.
Okay. That's very cool. I love the white line painter. Awesome. Then we need to build in the white line into the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Stuart, will that actually be your approval for the scenery for those parts that we have here today?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I think they've done a great job. Really happy with what I saw. There's some fantastic scenes and some good humor and some great characters.
This small minifigure, he or she has become a very, very important icon. Almost as important as the 2x4 Lego brick.
The first Lego minifigure is born in 1978, and 1 year later, Kjeld Kirk is appointed president and CEO of the Lego Group. The dominance of increasingly popular video games threatens to disrupt the toy market, the Lego company fights back with new Legoland theme parks, action figures, video games, and lifestyle products, assuming that children no longer have the time or the patience for old-fashioned plastic bricks. Around the turn of the millennium, times are tough for the Lego company with falling sales and high costs. Newly appointed CEO Jorn V and Lego owner Kjeld Kirk realize that Lego fans of all ages positively love and adore the simplicity of the Lego brick. Getting back to basics makes the Lego Group a profitable business once again, and now they've taken on a new official mission to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow.
Today's a big day. I think it's my biggest day in the house today. This is the day where we are going to get, hopefully, the approval of the concept.
It's a big day for the design and development team. Today, Kel and the steering committee have to approve the furniture design and all the play experiences for the Lego house.
We're talking about all experiences in the house, all paid experiences. We are going through 19 individual experiences today, one by one by one. Hopefully you will get a thumbs up. That includes the design of the interior.
Hvis nu Kjeld han siger noget, så lytter vi til Kjeld. Hvad så hvis Jørgen han siger noget andet? Så lytter vi stadigvæk til Kjeld.
Jeg har faktisk lige et board herhen, jeg lige vil tage frem. Jeg fik lige Stuart til igen lige at finde et par elementer frem fra. I duplo-zonen herovre. Men der kan du se, der vil vi gerne have bygget den her helt op til vinduet. Det kan vi ikke på grund af ventilationen igen, den kører herude.
Du skal også have sådan folk kan sætte sig.
Men nu kan folk også sætte sig. Det er også det, vi fandt ud af. Det var faktisk lidt en fordel, der er altså. Vi har altså omkring 30 cm, vi kan lege med her. 30-40 cm her. Vi kan også trække den lidt tilbage. Og så kan man godt sidde og lige ved ben ud over og sidde der og kigge derned.
Og de voksne kan sætte sig der også, ikke?
Super flot at kigge ned her. Du er jo helt hernede et sted også, ikke? Med det næste.
Det kan godt være en spændende fordel der,
jo, det kan så. Jo.
One thing that I learned from my father was his saying, if you have the right idea, if you have the right people, then the results also will come.
We now have thumbs up, double thumbs up, for 19 different experiences, meaning that we now have the foundation for the full Lego house.
In Skærbæk, Denmark, the annual Lego fan event is being held. A 2-day event where fans of all ages from all over the world gather to talk about Lego topics and impress each other with their own builds.
Being a Lego builder to me means being able to express myself with my art through Lego and being able to reach other people.
It's kind of like another form of creativity. You can express anything you want to say or do by something you can build. And like people who like a certain thing like cars can build it. And I like music, so I chose to build a music box, and that's what Lego really means.
Obviously, one of the biggest Lego fans, Kjeld, is present.
Well, that's wonderful every time, and I must say it is very important for me also because I get a lot of inspiration from seeing what they have been creating, and it's really awesome.
Among all the fans, Stuart, who's managing all of the Lego builds for the house, is also here, and not just for his own pleasure.
Part of the house is a showcase for the work and the work of the community, and so we're also on the lookout for some great creations that we can use in the Lego house.
These are the sort of most eminent builders. They are the people who push the boundaries of the brand and what's possible with the Lego brick and the Lego idea. And we wanted to create a place that they would respect and they would get inspired from, but also that they would feel would be a bit like a home to them, a place where they would feel this is at level, this is a place I also can contribute to.
As the design of the experiences is now locked into place, The focus is on the restaurant. Niels Jørn is on his way to Gothenburg, where the conveyor belt and robots are being built.
The robots will definitely look like Lego-built robots. The way you order your food is also very well connected to Lego, because you actually build your meal with Lego bricks. Morning, great to see you. Yeah. Wow.
The concept for the family restaurant is that you build your meal order in Lego bricks, scan it, and digitally send it to the kitchen.
It's a really complex setup where we have a device being able to read the different colors to identify the different food items, and that's a complex piece of technology we've built for the purpose.
After the order has been handled in the kitchen, it will then make its way back to the seating area via the conveyor belt before being served by the robots.
We allowed ourselves to dream big and to create something that really matches the rest of the house. By building this concept, we are really we're first movers.
As it turns out, not everything meets the high Lego standards.
Det ligner simpelthen noget, der er 5 år gammel.
Ja.
Jeg kan simpelthen ikke forstå, at det lige er lavet nu. Det kan godt være lidt bekymrende for.
Ja.
Og det ligner nogle enormt billige klodser.
Well, the color is so important because it's representing everything related to the brick and to the brand. And of course, we need to make sure that whatever we do is on brand and has the quality that we want everything to be in Lego House.
Year after year, the limits of Lego builds are being tested in Kladno and the Czech Republic. But with the Lego House, they have now met their biggest challenge so far. Now they hope that all of their efforts will pay off and impress Kjeld.
Well, it's a pretty exciting day, actually. We've invited Kjeld to come down and see the models in the model shop. And so he's going to get a sneak preview of the big iconic models that we're working on for Lego House. I'm pretty excited, a little nervous. You know, Kjeld has seen a lot of models in our lifetime with the Lego group, but I still hope we can still amaze and delight him.
And then who's got the control for the main lights?
As with every other step in the making of the Lego House, Kjeld's ideas and input are carefully listened to.
Hope for the best that he arrives at the right moment.
And now it's time for Stuart to show Kjeld the Lego builds for the first time.
Så kan vi komme ind og se. Wow! Hold da op.
And if you see behind the castle, see the wall is falling away, and behind it is a yellow castle. You can see the yellow behind the window here. You can see a little copy of the very first milling machine that your father bought for the...
Oh!
So they're making little wooden toys.
I like very much the scene here. The wooden toys are made, and which reminds me also about how my grandfather started, and with the first milling machine in there. And then the city, the big city.
The city has a lot more characters going on in here. And here you see the line painter. He's being chased by dogs, so he's gone all over the place, and he's now painting a line up the tree.
Oh, yeah. Lots of details.
There's a lot of little stories going on here.
It is really to be inspiring to children and adults to show them really what can be done with our bricks. And I think this way of making it really can trigger a lot of imagination.
But the tour isn't over. The biggest build is yet to come.
I'm moved.
That's awesome. You asked for a woodpecker. You got a woodpecker.
Thank you. I must say, when I saw the Lego tree, I got a tear in my eye because it was just so touching also to see it in real life. I've seen lots of drawings and pictures and so on, but see it, it's enormous and it's fantastic. Incredible.
So we are in 9 meters. You are really seeing just the top 4 meters.
Come on.
Just small piece of tree.
This is only the top 6 meters of the 15 meters. It's going to be awesome.
I'm feeling relieved and happy and pleased and excited. It's a good feeling. A good feeling.
That's the second one from the bottom.
That's the second one.
Yes.
Oh,
Find
the
the
duck
details.
here. Yeah, great. My father would probably have thought this is too much, but on the other hand, I'm sure he would have liked the results. Beautiful.
There is this one that we need to do something about.
Sure. Yeah.
The fan community was asked what was the most important to them in the Lego house. The #1 answer was that it has to contain a vault in the basement with all the Lego models.
And I remember we sort of said, well, making a big basement in the town of Billund is not really a good idea because of the water level and also things. But I said, no. There has to be a vault, there has to be a basement.
And so, the history collection was added. Today, Kjeld and his son Thomas are stopping by to see how everything has turned out.
I think they cannot help themselves from playing with this, and these are actually museum artifacts. So you can touch them, but you cannot play with them, and I don't know if we can get them to understand that.
Hi.
Hi. So we've asked you to help us put a few models into display cases.
Wow. Yeah, the yellow castle.
Yeah.
It has become a classic.
Especially because it's yellow.
Why was it yellow? Do you remember that?
We didn't have that many grey bricks at that time.
All right. We make it in yellow.
We make it in yellow.
We also brought the this one.
My favorite.
I thought so.
928.
Very beautiful.
Beautiful, very iconic also. And had a lot of good play functions. Open it up in the back so that you could drive in a small vehicle. That was sort of what we started really to emphasize in the late 70s. You have to have a lot of fun building the model, but then you should also be able to really enjoy playing with it afterwards. Almost.
Maybe he has to take his.
It's not the right construction.
There you go.
There you go.
I think it is extremely important that we have this place where we can exactly showcase the best we can be with our products and hopefully inspire a lot of new Lego fans to get started building and build in new ways that they have never thought about. So I see it very much as a place of inspiration.
With the approval of the design, the play experiences, and the big builds, it's time for another and equally important step, the staff.
This has to be the absolute best place you can go and experience what Lego is all about. And fundamentally, we believe that we can only achieve that if we also make Lego House the best place to work for all of you sitting here. We can develop the most amazing experiences that the world have ever seen before. But if we fail and get the wrong staff that does not display the Lego values the right way or does not show the service orientation towards the guests that we want them to show, it can deteriorate the experiences completely.
That's just the perfect job for me because
I love children and I love to see how they evolve, especially when they're playing.
They will be the real facilitator of what's possible through learning through play with Lego bricks. What's the Lego brand all about? What is so special about the Lego experience?
The exterior of the Lego house is finally done. So now it's time to finish up the interior.
It's a very important ring with the duck on this one.
Finally, the giant Lego tree is ready for installment in the house.
It's incredible. It's better than I can have imagined, so it's really, really cool. We built the house around the tree. You know, the tree is the metaphor for the Lego group, and this house is here as a sort of a stage set for this tree.
This is the gallery. This is where a selected group of fans have been given the opportunity to showcase what they're capable of. And, you know, it has surprised us a lot of what they are able to do. And it certainly will also surprise our guests.
On the top of the house, placed as this big 2x4 Lego brick, is the Masterpiece Gallery. Here, AFOLs, adult fans of Lego from all over the world, are invited to exhibit their own creations.
It is an art form. It's not an exclusive art form. There's no sort of level of how good you are because everyone enjoys it, whether it's a child putting some bricks together or it's an adult building Santa Claus. So it's very much inclusive.
Some people use clay, some people use paint. I use Lego. And it's amazing being in the home of it, where it came from, and how the Lego house celebrates it as more than just a toy.
If I think of my child self, this would have been a childhood dream. So I'm one of the lucky people that sees a childhood dream come true.
They've done some brilliant work, and I'm if I must say, a little bit jealous of some of their creativity, because it's fantastic. They inspire us, and we inspire them, so it's great to bring the work together in one house.
Every bench that we have designed in the house, you sit down and you close your eyes and you sort of, bricks are within an arm's reach, you know, for sure. So you can just pick up whatever brick you want and you can build whatever model you want. So every time you take a seat, you take a rest, Lego is very close to you. I clearly remember this discussion. It was about how you could use the experiences in different kind of ways. So you can build whatever you want to, and that's the purpose of the experience. But secondary, we can benefit from having this amazing furniture built up around the bricks. And that was exactly what we discussed. The opportunity of being able to sit next to an experience and even reach out and play with the bricks, but also, you know, have this grand view over the Lego square. The house will open in, let's say, 20 minutes from now, and this is the first room they'll come into. We're just changing it slightly, so it becomes sort of only the best is good enough. Last minute changes. But then we can push this. Don't drop it. So it was like this. No. Maybe we have another block. Now we'll have. Yeah. Yes. So now the key broke.
Uncle Frederick, get another key. Thank you.
This is the day we have been looking forward to for such a long time. This is the Lego house, and there is nothing like it.
I will definitely look back at this as my masterpiece, Kjell. Have fun with it.
The new Lego house in Billund is a physical manifestation of a vision to stimulate life and creativity.
For me, this day is really a dream coming true.
We've put so much effort into this house, and we really want people to come and see and experience and play here and just have fun.
The guests, they are really happy. They are really surprised that they can build their own meal in here. And it's a really good feeling standing here.
He really deeply believes in that this house is going to be unique and it's going to make a difference.
This is the dream coming true for me. This is the home of the brick.